How dangerous really is Diddy? Now, he's been denied bail twice, we know, by two different judges. This week, his legal team, by the way, submitted a notice of appeal to the U.S. District Court trying to...
He probably thought maybe he was invincible with some of the things that he did. Because if you saw some of the things that he talked about and how he he treated people, he was... I think anybody will rat if they're getting put into a certain position. Where you're looking at R. Kelly time, R. Kelly's doing 20 to 30 years.
Ever since Diddy landed behind bars, rumors have been swirling about how he's being treated. And let's just say, according to his lawyer's constant whining, it sounds pretty terrible. But hold up, because NYPD sources are now stepping up to set the record straight on what's really going down in that prison cell. Word is, while Diddy's been placed on and off self-harm watch, it's not exactly for the reasons you'd think. In fact, some say it's all part of his strategy to score sympathy points with the jury. What the NYPD chief allegedly witnessed in that cell might just blow this whole narrative wide open. It's no secret that Diddy didn't do all of this alone. And let's be real, it's looking like Jay-Z and a whole bunch of other celebs might be shaking in their boots right about now.
They're linking so many celebrities into this. Kevin Hart now. They're putting so many people involved. Every day the Kardashians, every time you see...
The drama is escalating fast for Diddy. He's behind bars, and the lawsuits just keep coming. The walls are closing in, and while Diddy's legal team is trying to paint him as a victim, the truth might be a whole lot messier. Everyone knows that when someone this powerful goes down, it's only a matter of time before the dominoes start falling. And trust me, the A-listers who've been cozy with Diddy over the years aren't sleeping easy right now. The hip-hop detective who used to keep an eye on Diddy whenever he caused trouble is finally pulling back the curtain on what's actually taking place behind the scenes.
Right. There are other people that Diddy has had relationships with. You got to remember, he was a billionaire and on a billionaire status where he moved and ran with the most elite.
Diddy's downfall seems inevitable at this point, especially now that he's been locked up for a few weeks. And trust me, it's only about to get worse. His legal team might be trying to spin it, but the truth is, he's facing some serious heat. Combs was arrested some time ago, slapped with charges of ST, racketeering, and transporting individuals for P. It's the tip of the iceberg after months of lawsuits and allegations of SA, gender violence, misconduct, and all sorts of illegal activity spanning years. Although he pleaded not guilty, the judge wasn't having it, denying him bail after U.S. Attorney Damian Williams argued that Diddy's both a flight risk and a danger to the community. He said, as alleged in the indictment, for years Sean Combs used the business empire he controlled to essay and exploit women, as well as to commit other acts of violence and obstruction of justice. Today he is charged with racketeering and ST offenses. If you have been a victim of Combs' alleged A, or if you know anything about his alleged crimes, we urge you to come forward. This investigation is far from over. Right now, Diddy is sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York on procedural self-harm watch, which is pretty typical for high-profile cases like his. And let's talk about those charges. They're all tied to his infamous freak-offs, hours and even days-long performances that allegedly involved coerced acts that Diddy is accused of orchestrating and recording. The indictment claims Diddy went to extreme lengths to fulfill his desires, protect his public image, and keep his dark secrets hidden.
Right, exactly. So, a lot of this stuff is, right now, everything is starting to come out. And this, you haven't seen the last of this. This is just the beginning.
Speaking of Diddy's current situation, let's not sugarcoat it. He's in a hellhole. A former MDC detainee spilled the tea, revealing that the conditions there are downright inhumane. And honestly, it seems like poetic justice. It's terrible. The food is terrible. Of course, the inmates are terrible. The guards are terrible. The conditions are terrible. It's just terrible. After making so many people's lives a living nightmare for years, it's about time Diddy got a taste of what real hell feels like. Think about it. He's no longer the king of lavish parties or calling the shots in the industry. He's now stuck in a grimy, overcrowded cell with barely any light, and according to insiders, the kind of treatment that'll make even the toughest crumble. But hey, when you've spent years orchestrating people's worst nightmares, maybe this is exactly what karma looks like.
A lot of them are brought up on pretty heavy federal indictments, right? So just in terms of the atmosphere there, it's just certainly one that no one wants to be in.
Detainees, advocates, and judges have raised alarms about dangerous barbaric conditions, rampant violence, and multiple deaths at the MDC. and some judges have refused to send people to the only federal lockup in the nation's biggest city. Combs' legal team is scrambling to get him moved to a jail in New Jersey, claiming that Brooklyn's MDC is unfit for pretrial detention. And with the conditions he's dealing with, it's easy to see why they're pushing hard. Locked up in the facility's special housing unit, Diddy is confined to his cell for up to 23 hours a day under constant watch. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, argued that it's standard treatment for high-profile inmates, but it doesn't make things any easier for Diddy. The highlight of all this is that the lockdown at MDC could seriously mess with Diddy's defense strategy. Former inmates have pointed out that being locked down limits contact with legal teams, and according to experts like Hamilton, it could make preparing for court a nightmare. In terms of fighting their case, it makes it all the more difficult, because now, in terms of you being able to communicate with your attorney, you are at the mercy of what's going on with respect to the facility. Is it on lockdown? Is the facility letting visitors in? Basically, if they're on lockdown or not allowing visitors, good luck fighting your case. So while Diddy's behind bars, it seems his ability to fight back is being seriously hampered. In addition to that, a former warden from Brooklyn's infamous MDC just dropped some serious truth bombs about what Diddy's really up against behind those bars. According to Cameron Lindsay, the facility is notorious for corruption, perpetual lockdowns, and inmates not being allowed to leave their cells for visits, calls, showers, or even exercise. But perhaps the most terrifying aspect of MDC is the high rate of self-harm and unexplained deaths, something that Diddy needs to watch out for. So in short, Diddy is destined to be doomed if he spends his sentence here. The source made it clear that other inmates see eliminating high-profile criminals as a badge of honor, and given Diddy's celebrity status and the dark allegations against him, he's definitely fitting that mold. That's why he's currently being kept in a sector meant to keep him away from the general population. But even then, things aren't looking too bright.
Why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this.
His daily life is anything but glamorous. We're talking 1 hour of rec time, 3 showers per week, and 3 meals a day, calories capped at 1,800. And let's just say the freshness of those meals, highly questionable. Diddy's access to friends and family will be extremely limited, though his legal team will have more frequent visits to help him fight the mountain of charges he's facing. At least there's a commissary, offering basic goods like food, clothing, and some tech, but that's hardly going to make up for the harsh reality of MDC. To put it simply, Diddy's facing a long, hard road ahead in what can only be described as a hellhole of a prison.
Out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out, they'll just guy. No question.
Combs just can't seem to catch a break, or more like the law isn't cutting him any slack. Now, as we have seen since the start of this drama, Diddy's legal team tried their level best to soften his fall, and this time again his lawyers tried to whine about the horrible conditions of the prison Diddy is being kept in. U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnofsky agreed with prosecutors and denied the hip-hop mogul bail when he appeared in federal court after he was charged in an indictment with ST, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage, and P. Combs' attorney had asked that he be released on bail and said that he could post a $50 million bond. But U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin denied their request, saying in part that even with a bond, she could not reasonably assure his return to court or the safety of the community, or a lack of witness tampering. Prosecutors argued in a letter to Tarnofsky that Combs is a flight risk and poses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community. You see, Combs pleaded not guilty to the charges during the same hearing in a lower Manhattan courtroom. An attorney for Combs said he could not have obstructed justice because he did not know that he was the subject of a criminal investigation. However, Johnson, the prosecutor, told the judge, the defendant's power gives him a unique ability to influence and intimidate witnesses and victims. Witnesses we have interviewed have universally expressed their fear of the defendant. His influence makes it extremely difficult to convince people that they will be safe from his actions. After yet another failed attempt to keep the music mogul out of jail, following his arrest for ST, his lawyers are scrambling. Now they're claiming that the federal detention center where Diddy is being held is nothing short of a nightmare. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, claimed, the food is inedible from what I've been told. It's way too hot in summer. Sometimes there's no heat at all. In the winter, the toilet water has been known to freeze. It's violent. Someone like Mr. Combs might be a target for certain things. We can't let that happen. This drama ain't gonna die down anytime soon, because Texas attorney Tony Busby has just thrown another explosive twist into Diddy Combs' ongoing legal nightmare.
I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against.
Busby revealed that he is now representing 120 accusers who have stepped forward with new allegations of misconduct against the hip-hop mogul. The accusations come at a time when Diddy is already awaiting trial on federal ST charges, and the scope of the alleged misconduct is staggering. According to Busby, the victims are at an even split, 60 males and 60 females, with 25 minors at the time of the alleged incidents. Busby said at a news conference, "It's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way to this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct." Busby didn't hold back in his descriptions either. He noted that these alleged events mostly occurred at exclusive parties. We're talking about album release bashes, New Year's Eve blowouts, and even gatherings with nicknames like the Puppy Party and the notorious All-White Party. If these allegations hold up, Diddy's infamous events will go down in history for all the wrong reasons. With lawsuits expected to hit the courts in the coming month, things are getting darker. And with this many accusations coming forward, it's clear that Diddy's legal battles are far from over. Let's be real. The A-list celebs and the big-name corporate leaders who were regulars at Diddy's wild parties are in for a rough ride. With these new allegations piling up, it's not just Diddy feeling the heat. The names that grace these exclusive bashes are looking at some serious legal trouble, too.
You should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated.
From music industry titans to Hollywood elites, nobody who was involved in these notorious gatherings is safe. Whether it was rubbing shoulders with Diddy at his infamous all-white parties or showing up at his over-the-top album release bashes, these high-profile attendees could find themselves dragged into court as defendants in the unfolding drama. And there will be no slick PR move or last-minute legal loophole to wriggle their way out of this one. Following the news conference in Texas, an attorney for Combs said the performer cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus. Attorney Erica Wolf said in a statement, "That said, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he essayed anyone, including minors. He looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court if and when claims are filed and served, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation." And for those who believe that Diddy will find a way out of this mess, you need to wake up. You know that Jaguar has been sounding the alarm about Diddy's alleged atrocities for years. Now, following his arrest and indictment, she's back in the spotlight, claiming that Sean Combs has sold a wild freak-off party tape for a staggering $500 million on the dark web. But hold up, rumor has it that Justin Bieber might be ready to spill his own version of events to clear his name. Since he was on the S-tape as well, let's be real. When Diddy had his claws in Justin, the poor kid was barely out of his teens. The speculation is swirling, and it's starting to feel like Justin's had enough of being tied to Diddy's freaky escapades. Jaguar claims this alleged footage features some big-name A-listers. And remember, Justin was just a kid back then. We all know how impressionable teenagers can be, especially in that high-pressure environment. Anyway, coming back to Jaguar, she revealed that she herself has witnessed what devilish things Diddy forced the S-workers to do.
Workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tape.
Apart from Jaguar, Suge Knight is also speaking up on this Diddy situation. And we all know that he isn't exactly the type to mince words, and his take on Combs' situation was no different. In a recent interview with News Nation, Knight offered a surprisingly empathetic perspective on Diddy's legal troubles, saying, "Me personally, I don't jump and cheer for no black man or any other human being going to prison." He was quick to remind everyone that Diddy's got kids, and that whatever hits him is going to hit them too. But Knight didn't just stop at the surface. He made it clear that while the alleged victims and their families deserve justice, there's more to this story than what's in the headlines. According to Knight, Diddy isn't the only one who should be under the microscope. In fact, he suggested that Diddy is merely the fall guy, pointing out that Puffy didn't get to where he got by doing those things listed in the allegations by himself. He was taught by people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. And you better believe that Suge actually named a few names that were pretty tight with Diddy. I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay-Z, I don't care if it's Snoop Dogg, I don't care if it's Dre, I don't care if it's The Game. Nobody's stepping up on the fact that you know what's going on.
Diddy didn't do it alone. Where are all the celebrities and friends that hung around Diddy? Did they really not know all of this information about?
Looks like Diddy might be making a bold move in his ST and racketeering case. Word on the street, according to his lawyer, is that he is considering taking the stand to testify. It's a risky strategy, one that could either clear his name or land him in even deeper waters. But not everyone thinks it's a smart play. Misha Moulton, a legal expert from the Misha Moulton law firm, is one of those urging caution. In a recent interview with Page Six, advised Diddy to think twice about taking the stand, pointing out the potential consequences. There's a reason attorneys typically advise their clients not to take the stand in their own trial. Testifying opens the defendant to cross-examination from the prosecution. And we all know how cross-examination goes. The prosecution will likely go in hard, trying to poke holes in his story. If Diddy does testify, it'll be a high-stakes gamble. But with everything that's on the line, his legacy, his empire, it's not shocking that he might want to take control of the narrative. Whether it'll pay off or backfire remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this trial's going to be a spectacle. This process will be relentless in trying to find inconsistencies in his statements and getting him to admit to things that could be damaging. If Diddy becomes flustered or frustrated, taking the stand could do more harm than good. And she's got a point. Courtroom drama isn't just about the facts. It's about how the jury reads your every move. One wrong look, one slip in composure, and suddenly the narrative could turn against him. She did give Diddy some advice, but it's really up to him and his legal counsel. Fans are definitely growing frustrated with the constant stream of legal experts offering Diddy tips on how to handle his case. Are we supposed to feel sorry for this ST? Sorry, keep him in the prison he is in and throw away the key. Maybe he can reflect on the death, misery, and he has caused to minors, fellow stars, and women. An sociopath narcissist who deserves to live out his life behind bars with his fellow conspirators. That's all for today. We hope you liked that video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.